I was the guy back in 2008, 2009, 2010. We were the guys that were running the biggest, reggaeton events in the country, in Europe. We was the only ones doing it at the time. So obviously, from that industry, I gained a lot of contacts, and those type of contacts were like venues, locations, and stuff like that. So when it got to that 2015, 2016, I saw like a local scene that was growing, but it just didn't have no leadership, no direction. It didn't have nothing other than just the actual talent that was out there. And then I saw a group of artists, and I offered to manage them for free. And I realized that I had all these contacts from obviously previous work that I've done before, like venues, promoters, stuff like that. I had all these contacts. So I drafted all my resources together, and I said to these guys, look, why don't you put on a show and see how that goes? We put the show on, and it was just a major success. And the only way we promoted that show was through this page that we created at the time.
When you first come in the game, look how they play. Then you at the top of the world, look how they wave to you. From Marcy to Madison Square, the only thing that mattered was just a matter of years. So this hard work pay off when time is money, but you got the nerve to take a day off. So nigga, what you waiting for, the pussy or the Grammy? Anticipating gold like anticipating pennies.
What's going on? It's your boy Just Prince from the Balance Effect podcast. This is part of a 5-part series that I have going on, The Balance Effect Presents, where we're just highlighting movers and shakers globally, right? And we're definitely hopping across the pond today, right? As you know, that we're in Atlanta right now because we were mingling, shaking with some people in Atlanta. We had a podcast the other day, but I definitely wanted to tap in with my good brother Luch from the Latino Shaderoom today. He's definitely a mover and shaker out in the UK, doing this thing, holding the fort down for the Latino gang, the Latino community, that Latin trap sound, everything Latino in UK. You're gonna have to talk to him because he's been dubbed the gatekeeper. You know what I mean? So it is my pleasure to present to you, Luch from the Latino Shade Room. I appreciate you for being here.
Thank you,
and he's definitely not a wanker. He's definitely not a wanker. So he's a straight guy here, man. So yeah, man, I appreciate you for being with us today, man. How you feeling?
Bro, no, I'm feeling good, man. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate for having me on your podcast, man.
No, definitely. I mean, it's crazy when we met. It's crazy how we met. Like it was kind of like a shot of the dark. Like I was looking for different people to just talk to and just get my stuff out there. And it was intrigued that like, I honestly thought that you were like the Shade Room from here, where you were like just spreading gossip and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, let me just check this stuff out. And a lot of the stuff that you were talking about was not only just about the culture, but it was about just like the way that we mingle, the way that we do things, the way that we interact, the good and the bad. Because not a lot of people always want to highlight the good and the bad. They just want to highlight the good stuff, but never the bad stuff. And, what really stuck out to me was you were talking about, colorism and racism within the Latin community. And that's when I was like, yo, listen, I reached out to you and I wanted to talk about it. And we were trying to go on live one time and it didn't happen because the time. I mean, hey, if it's 5 o'clock over here, it's probably like what, 10, 11 o'clock over there, something like that. So the time, like 5-6 hours behind us, right? So the time constraints can happen. So I ended up jumping on your live at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we just had a dope conversation, man. We had a dope conversation.
I remember like around July. I remember that.
Yeah. No, it wasn't July. I think it was May. It was like around that time, May, man. I think it was around that time. But
it was an intense one, isn't it? It was quite intense.
Yeah, very intense. Like a lot of people were intrigued. A lot of people were intrigued with a lot of the stuff that I had to say. So I definitely wanted to highlight you. But definitely introduce yourself to my audience so they could get a better idea of you, and then we could get this podcast rolling, bro.
Yeah, bro. No, I appreciate it, man. So my name is Luch. I'm born to Chilean parents. Here in Chilean Colombian parents here in London, and I've done a bit of everything in regards to like the music and entertainment industry. Like I've managed artists, I've done events. I come from a radio and TV background, and I run a platform at the moment which is called the Latino Shade Room, and it started off obviously as what you probably would have assumed it was going to be, just gossip and stuff like that. But then we realized that, we was gaining momentum and we wanted to actually turn it into something positive, something useful, a tool for the community rather than just a meme page. And and that's when we started incorporating, things that you came across. But that's what I do, man. That's what we do. We promote the urban Latino culture here in the UK through TV, radio, and social media.
No, man, that's so dope, man. One of the things that we were talking about prior to getting on here was like just, the whole Latin community and how like I didn't even know that it even was so vast and it existed in the UK.
UK not so much, but it's growing now. It's like second generation here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I noticed. Like I know I have family that has gone to España and like they've dealt with that, and obviously people go to Spain. I've had cousins in Switzerland and Italy and stuff like that, but I've never heard of a large community of Latinos and stuff like that in the UK. So can you describe me like how that culture infused with like the UK sound and all that stuff, and how like you kind of been highlighting that?
Yeah, I mean, I was born in the 90s, and when I was growing up, there was already a small community, like a small bubbling community here in London. Not many, I'd probably say a couple 100,000, not too many. As a young person growing up, I struggled to identify myself because there wasn't that many Latinos. And because we're in the UK, so like you're in America, everything, it's not hard for you to find someone just like you or someone that comes from where you come from. But for us here, unless we were like going to areas where Latinos were, you weren't going to see a Latino. So I grew up with Jamaicans, Caribbeans, Asian. So the representation was not there. It was only like up until probably maybe 2010, where there was like a mass migration from Spain. I think during a period when the economy wasn't doing too well, a load of Spanish people came over to the UK, and the community grew from there. But I would say we're about second generation here. So second generation.
Okay.
I wouldn't say it's big. It's definitely strong.
It's definitely strong. Okay. So you're saying it's relatively growing, you guys, and you're like kind of like you're like setting the flag in the ground as far as like the representation of, the Latin community over there, and just highlighting everything that goes at and stuff like that. You run a TV show over there too as well, right?
I don't run it. I work with the channel. Okay. Yeah, I don't run it myself. I work with the channel, and so we deal with sort of the Latin content that goes onto the channel.
Okay.
And I've got my own show on there. We run a weekly chart show there, and it's like the only network, the only channel that's offering us that type of exposure at the moment. We are in talks with other networks like Viacom and stuff like that, but that's for future work. But these guys have been the only guys to
really show you love.
Yeah, to put us on. Yeah.
Yeah, Trace. Got you. So one of the things that I talk about on my show is like my show is based on, highlighting individuals, talking about financial and freedom, entrepreneurship, non-conformity. Those are kind of like the staples of a Balance Effect podcast. You know what I mean? We just want to highlight individuals. I want to show people a different way, right? Obviously, in the Latino community and a lot of the other communities where we tend to be conformed with what society, dubs is good for us. But the other people in other communities, they feel like, okay, if you can be whatever you want to be if you put the work towards it. You know what I'm saying? So like, I want to kind of highlight that there's always different routes. And I feel like you're the perfect candidate because it's like you filled the huge void in a huge market. UK is its own market. You got your own billboard. You know what I'm saying? Like your own billboard charts and stuff like that. So it's like you guys have a market and you filled that void there because you were like, especially now, like, I don't know if like, well, in the early 2000s you had reggaeton and stuff like that, but it wasn't really as big as I would say it is now globally, right?
Definitely.
And you know what I'm saying? And it's like, you filled that void because now like you're like pushing the narrative as far as the content in the UK, which is a huge market. So, I definitely got to highlight you for that. And I got to applaud you for that, man. You're doing your thing. You know, you're doing your thing out there. You're doing your thing out there, man. So that's why I wanted you on here. Talk to us about like the artist development process, because I know that your page, you know, it grew from nothing to something, you know. So talk to us about the engagement process, artist development, highlighting different artists that you have on your bill right now. You know, all that stuff that you do in the UK.
Cool. So originally I come from an event background.
Okay.
So I was a guy back in 2008, 2009, 2010. We were the guys that were running the biggest, you know, reggaeton events in the country, in Europe. We was the only ones doing it at the time. So obviously from that industry, I gained a lot of contacts, and those type of contacts were like venues, locations, and stuff like that. So when it got to that 2015, 2016, you know, I saw like a local scene that was growing, but it just didn't have no leadership, no direction. It didn't have nothing other than just the actual talent that was out there. And then I saw a group of artists, and I offered to manage them for free. And I realized that I had all these contacts from obviously previous work that I've done before, like venues, promoters, stuff like that. I had all these contacts. So I drafted all my resources together, and I said to these guys, look, why don't you put on a show and see how that goes? We put the show on, and it was just a major success. And the only way we promoted that show was through this page that we created at the time. So we created this page because there was no other way to promote. There was no other platform for what was going on here. So we said we're going to create our own page, and we created the Latino Shaderoom to promote this event. And the event was sold out, and we realized that there was massive potential there. There was a market there that, like you said, that needed to be filled, and I think we kind of filled that spot. And what we do is we now we're lucky to work with major labels like Warner. We work with major radios, major TV stations, and we are the curators of Latin music. So we help artists get onto these platforms. We help artists develop themselves in the sense of pointing them in the right direction, helping them create content with major platforms. We put them around the table with labels. Mm-hmm. That's basically what we do.
Wow, man. So that the Latino Shaderoom is, do you have like a team that you have, or is it just you that's running it? You know,
I have collaborators and people that help me, but I would say it's a one-man team at the moment.
You know, one thing that I've learned when you're a creative and when you're in that creative space and when you're growing something, the importance of collaboration and the importance of like partnerships and building your network, right? So can you touch on the importance of like how was important for you when you go in your business to network? Like your network is your net worth.
So important. So important.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started off in events, I was promoting somebody else's event. I was the guy at the door, but I was happy to be there because I was only 18. I was happy to be in that position. I was happy to be helping and getting involved. And from that, I made the contact that I now work with today. Helping artists put on major concerts there. Like they've had J Balvin there. They've had all of the major reggaeton artists have performed there. So if it wasn't for that time where I was working for someone and I didn't network and create that contact, I wouldn't have that now. And that's been one of my major collaborators to help artists get major shows here in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Wow, man, that's crazy, man. I've noticed that like your net worth is your network, right? Like, so whoever you know is who you know, not what you know, right? And I feel like you've grown, right? You've grown exponentially, and like, you know, your brand is going and stuff like that. So, you know, moving forward, talking about one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, because we didn't get to talk about it on the live too heavily, you know, the way that I wanted to. So I wanted to take the opportunity to talk about it, because I know you've kind of, you know, dealt with it a lot with your page. What do you, let's like, as far as like, how do we push the narrative forward as far as the Latino culture to, you know, eradicate, you know, like its racist undertone like that we have, like the color undertone? Because it's like, a lot of the food that we eat, a lot of the music that we do comes from a certain place, right? We want to profit off of it. We want to always highlight the things, but we never want to speak on its origin, right? So how do we push the narrative forward? Myself coming from the US, coming from the US, and obviously no way of the Caribbean and stuff like Dominican Republic, and you from South America, via UK. How do we push that forward so we can kind of change that?
That's a big question, bro.
Well, that's why I asked you, man. That's the long question.
That's a big question, bro. I mean, it depends who you ask, right? It depends who you ask and where that person is based. Because if you
in the UK,
talking about someone in the UK, we're all in the same boat out here, all of us.
Yeah.
You're white Latino, brown Latino, black Latino. Just being Latino is a barrier here. If you ask someone, for example, in Colombia, that same question, they'll have a different answer for you. So, for example, someone in Colombia will say a whitewashed media, for example. How there's no representation for the indigenous and the African communities that live in Colombia. If you ask someone in the UK like myself, we're all in the same boat here, I would say political representation, because we have no political representation here in the UK. We have no, when we're filling in an application here in the UK, there isn't, there's black, there's European, there's Asian, there isn't Hispanic or Latin American. So we have to put other. So I would say, it's a very big question, man. It's really tough because it's been kind of installed into us from when we was young, right? I can remember certain sayings within the fact, like uncle saying certain things, and that that wouldn't be tolerated now. I think as a generation, we're more educated on this kind of stuff, other than compared to our previous generation. And I think the more conscious we become of these kind of things, the more we spread this message, the more diverse and the opportunities, for example, they need to be more diverse. They need to be available for people from all different Latin American communities, not just a certain type.
Right.
Question, man. Very big question.
No, yeah, I know it's a big question, but I was kind of I agree with you as far as like representation, that's important. But I was talking about as far as like coming from the island, like I know you were talking about that us as a generation, we're kind of changing the narrative because we're more conscious, we're more socially conscious, we're more aware of our history.
Because Dominican, I've got Dominican friends. Maybe if you ask them 10 years ago, they will say they're not black.
Yeah. Right.
So,
right.
It's been it's crazy.
It's and I feel like that's kind of what I guess with it being a question, you answer with a question within a question, you answered it, because that's what I was trying to talk about, like as far as like us pushing that forward, like pushing that, like changing the narrative so that we're able to teach the next generation that yes, we come from this, we all come from all walks of life, but at the end of the day, we all Latino people. You know what I'm saying? We have, it's a nuance. We're all different types of people, so but we also have to identify with what makes us different and how we come together to bring this beautiful, great culture. You know what I mean?
Education plays a big part in it as well.
Right.
Someone like myself here in the UK, we haven't got maybe access to the education that you probably have about your heritage. I don't know what the school system is like in New York, but over here, I always knew there were black people in Colombia. I just never knew why until I grew up and I started researching. So I don't know what the education system. I mean, do you guys get taught Hispanic heritage out there?
I mean, we do. We have a Hispanic Heritage Month. We have we. I don't know. My education, like I feel like the best education that I've ever gotten was the self-taught education.
Yeah, so you learn about your culture at home, basically.
Yes, my mother was very keen on, like she had these books in Spanish, and she would give me I'm talking about books about famous, Hispanic people, right? They like did certain things. So like, I remember I had a book on Schomburg, right? He was an Afro Puerto Rican, but his father was German. And the reason why we know anything about Africa is because of, Arturo Schomburg. You know what I mean? He went and he found all those things about Timbuktu, but we were teaching, the white men that were still, scratching their asses in caves, right? How to be doctors and stuff like that. They would go to Timbuktu. The richest man in the world was not Jeff Bezos. It's Mansa Musa, King of Mali. The dude had in gold. I'm not talking about a printed paper that has no value in it. I'm talking about in gold. The dude was worth $2 trillion.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's all that stuff I learned from that guy. Then obviously you learn about Hernan Cortez. I heard about Simon Bolivar. Any Latin thing. Diego Rivera. She gave me a whole bunch of books and she taught me all that stuff. Even about Dominican culture. Like I felt like it was important. It was imperative that I learn not only the stuff from what my mom told me, but go out and find the research and understand why certain things happen, and the rifts and in Hispanic culture, you know what I mean? And I enjoy it. I enjoy what makes us different, and I think that's important that we highlight, and you're doing it, and that's why I definitely got you here. So how did you become the gatekeeper? Like they dubbed you the gatekeeper of Latin culture. So how do you go from uh event planning and being the guy, the promoter, like, hey, yo, you got to give me $10 if you want to get in, to the gatekeeper of all Latin, anything Latin culture, right?
It's been like a timeline. It's been like a process of like
Yeah.
variety of things that we've done. So we was the first one to set up an FM radio here in London for Latinos. We was the first one to do that. We've done like obviously some major events. We've got obviously the Latino Shaderoom. We was the first one to be putting Latin music on television, on national TV. We was the first ones to be doing that. So as a brand, we've achieved quite a lot. I mean, we were solely focused on promoting Latin culture here in the UK. So if, for example, if you're an artist, even an American artist, if your marketing team wants to expand your audience to Europe, they're going to reach out to platforms that are doing what we do, and we're lucky to be in a position where we can be promoting big artists at the moment. So it's going really well, man.
Okay, I don't want you to name drop, but what type of we talking about, like the Bad Bunnies of the world and stuff like that? That's what you.
I mean,
that's what you represent.
I mean, yeah, we have. I mean, we're promoting big artists at the moment. At the moment, we're promoting. We got a partnership with Warner. We're promoting Cardi B and Anita's latest song, which is called Me Gusta.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, we got a few things that we're working on with Warner, and the majority of the people that we work with are independent.
Okay, independent, right?
Some label work now, but majority of the people we work with are independent artists.
Okay.
So
okay.
The reason why we maybe considered that is because of one, the platform that we've created, the opportunities that we're creating, and the fact that that's what we do. We solely focus on promoting Latin culture here in the UK.
Okay, all right. Like now, like I know obviously there's always going to be some type of controversy and stuff like that, and there's always going to be like this backlash from like helping people, right? Do you ever get like any of that backlash as far as like trying to help people and then they feel like they take advantage of, because the music industry can be a very very, very, very hard game to be in. You know what I mean? Because it's like you feel like you're helping somebody, but you're trying to protect yourself and you're trying to make money at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we work in a results business, right? We essentially what we do is we're a marketing tool for a lot of these artists, right? And what we do is we promote artists on our platform, and we in return for their money they get insights into how many people have been watching them, how many clicks and stuff like that. We deliver that to them. So some people have an expectation, and when they don't reach that expectation. They, so like any business, you have positive reviews and you have negative reviews.
Yeah.
So we're in a results-based business, but the thing is, the results can only be as good as the product. It's nothing
exactly.
We can apply all the marketing techniques under the sun. I can post that 50 times for you, bro. But if it ain't it, it ain't it. So that's some of the issues that we might have had in the past, where some artists maybe are not particularly happy with the response they've gotten on their campaigns. But that's nothing to do with us. It's only as good as, the results of the campaign can only be as good as the song.
Right. So this is kind of like, what's funny? The reason why I ask is because, when you're growing your business organically, you have to kind of like, I feel like people always want to cut corners, and they always want to go to like somebody like you, and they'll like be like, listen, I'll pay whatever your package is or whatever to just promote. Yeah. You know what I mean? So then what ends up happening is that they don't understand how it goes. Like, first of all, social media there has to be like a layout. It has to be like consecutive, something that catches it. It can't just be a video. It has to be several things, right? So you have to kind of touch people. You have to talk to people. You know what I mean? Because honestly, I could go to you and be like, yo, hey, Luch, I'm trying to have people in the UK listen to it, right? But if I don't have any content, or I have very little content to show, if I don't have an extensive library, so something they're gonna get attracted to something. It's gonna be very hard for them to, get on it. And especially like if you don't really have clickbait, like people be like, oh yeah, I want you to promote this one video. Okay, what after they see the video, what are they gonna see? Is there any click funnel to funnel them to like a sales page? Is there a sales lead, anything like that? So it's like I feel like you know what I feel like I feel like you should do too. I feel like you should do a master class in how to. No, I'm being serious. I feel like you should do a master class on how to, package yourself or your brand to them market, because there's different steps to it, right? Before you actually start making money. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to give your stuff to marketers and promoters and stuff like that. But if your shit is not packaged a certain way and prepped, then you're just going to throw money down the tube. I'm going to tell you the truth, because when I was doing the lives, I was just promoting it like Google ads and stuff like that and Instagram ads. And that was a waste of fucking money. You know what I'm saying? It was a waste of money because I wasn't reaching the people that I wanted to reach.
The way I see it is, you have to have, as a musician, my advice would be, in addition to paying the pages like me and other things to help promote you, you should have a strong organic campaign already. So it should be organic on your side. And my service, what we do, should be supplementing that. You shouldn't rely your entire YouTube view count on the campaign that you're running with me. I'm only here to supplement your campaign. I'll give you an example. So I've had issues with artists in the past where they'll pay me to promote their stuff, but there's no promotion happening on their side. So my campaign, so when I promote them, the response isn't great. The reason it isn't great is because when they click your page, there's nothing else to watch. There's nothing there. So what I would say is, before you go and pay anyone to promote your shit, make sure that you have an organic campaign in place, and that be through your social media, through whatever platform you use to promote your stuff. But that would be like the kind of backlash we've had in the past. But other than that, I mean,
it's been going well.
It's all good.
Nah, man. It also helps when your significant other has 1 million followers too, to promote yourself, right?
Yeah, for real.
This guy right here, man. This guy has it all figured out, man. I'm trying to be like you when I grow up, man.
Going back to the whole networking thing, man. Like,
yeah,
that's like actually a great example. I met my girlfriend from a contact that I've been working with for a long time. We met her at an event that we was throwing. I met her at an event. So yeah, like network. Man.
Yeah. Nah, it's network. She's Latina. She's Latina as well, right?
No, she's not. She's Hungarian.
Oh, okay. I thought she was Latina. Okay.
She
All
looks
right.
Latina though.
Yeah. I could have sworn she was like maybe Colombian or like from one of those South American countries or Costa Rica. I was like, okay, cool.
When
But
I
Hungarian?
first saw her, I thought she was Latina as well.
You was trying to what? How do you guys say it? Chat. You got chat or something like that. That's how you say it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You trying to chat to her and you're gonna give her that chat in Spanish and stuff like that. You thought it was.
She's Spanish as well because she's lived in Spain. So
Oh, okay. So she speaks with the
she's got the whole,
she speaks Castellano. She speaks like the other stuff or whatever.
the other. No. She speaks Castellano because she's been around me now.
Oh, okay. Cool. I mean, like, cause we not from Galicia any of that stuff. But anyway, man. Just moving forward, man. It's been a pleasure to have you here, man. And kind of like to wrap it up. Where can we see like your contact? I definitely want to keep in contact. I want to go out to UK whenever it's open, whenever we could go. I don't know. I don't think they're allowing Americans over there. Yeah.
I don't think they're allowing anyone now at the moment, but definitely, man. 2020. We're planning for 2021 now, bro. Festivals, that stuff, bro. You gotta come, man.
No, definitely. I gotta link you because I have a link. I don't know if you're big on the Afrobeat stuff. My man, he manages a few people in that stuff, and he does a lot of concerts and stuff like that. So definitely link you with him, and just keep the links going and stuff like that, and keep networking, man.
Yeah, bro.
But where can we find your stuff? No, I appreciate you. Where can we find you? How can people get in contact with you to like open a lane for them in UK? Because that's a big market, man. I'm trying to go out there too, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, the best way is just to hit us up on Instagram, the Latino Shaderoom. So we got our I've got an email there. So if it's anything business related, you can just hit me up on the email. We reply quite quickly. Otherwise, I mean, send us a DM, and we always try to reply to every DM at some point within the day. So yeah, man, just hit us up.
Okay.
We work with artists all over the world, so we're not just focused on promoting what the talent we have here. We're also focused on bridging ourselves with you guys. So if you're an artist in America and you're looking to expose yourself to a different audience, someone that you haven't come across before, hit us up. We've got the whole UK Europe thing going. So yeah, we're happy to have you, man.
All right, man. I definitely like to go over there and definitely do an in-person podcast, man. I'll bring my stuff over there. It's nothing. I'm pretty mobile, man. As you can see, I bought everything in Atlanta, so it don't matter to go over there. You get what I'm saying?
When you're thinking about doing it, hit me up, man.
No, I'm trying to do it. If I don't do it the top of next year, probably be in the middle, probably like the second quarter, like probably like May, June. I'm thinking like I'm trying to go London and Stockholm.
No, you'll like it, man. Trust me, man. London's a nice city, man. I'll take you to one of the Colombian food spots.
Oh, man. You know what's funny? I'm going to Colombia next month.
Yeah? Fucking hell.
Yeah. I'm going to Medellin. Fucking going to Medellin, man.
Nice. Enjoy it, man.
Yeah, nah, definitely. I'll send you some pictures.
Don't go crazy, man.
Hey, listen, man. I'm gonna try my best, man, but I can't promise anything, man. Nah, I'm joking. But yo, it was been a pleasure to have you on here. This is a Balance Effects. I'm your boy Just Prince. Highlighting my man Luch from the Latino Shaderoom. I appreciate you for having us on and having this dope conversation, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure, man.
I'm feeling your pain. It's part of the hustle. Think with your mind. Do work with your muscle. A beautiful Janet, poetic justice. A broke nigga, end of discussion. See money talks, you niggas talk too much. All that hating sound.